Today is the last day before they have to cut down to 53, and I'm releasing this video real early because we're going to talk about teams that have already made some cuts and some areas of need before the cuts. Plus, I have something else I want to talk about. What is up, Finn fans? We are getting so close to the start of the season. It is now today. I keep looking at my dry erase board. That sucker is hanging crooked as a mother. We are sitting at the 26th of August, which means this time next week it will officially be September. We are one more Sunday away from the Miami Dolphins taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars home, 1 o'clock. Hopefully we get a dub. Also, next week is the start of the season. So I got a lot of stuff planned for you. I got expectation videos. I got my schedule, not my record prediction coming out next Tuesday. So much stuff. So much stuff. One more time, so much stuff. But real quick, before we jump into the title of the video, and we're going to talk about cuts and some that are already happening and yada, yada, blah, 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 I have to tell you guys about this new merch. So this is my merch shop. It is in the description right next to where it says merch and exclamation points. It has this link. Don't look at this. This is outdated. I will put a promo code up there for you guys to get a discount on all this stuff. But this is what I got so far. You got like the OG stuff here, which is just this t-shirt with the Stay Classy on it, you know, just the OG stuff. Then you got the Sign the Man, which was for preseason, for free agency shirts. But this is the new stuff right up here. This top 3 is the new stuff. I like it in black. I think it looks good. Boom! I told you guys I was going to come out with some merch. Here you go. Don't be this guy. Enjoy football. There you go. You can get in a t-shirt, and they have the tall sizes, thank God, because I'm a tall man. You can get a t-shirt. You can get in a hoodie if you want to. Not many colors, because I didn't think it would really look good in other colors. You got black. No talls in the hoodies. I do apologize for that. And if you're really feeling fancy and you're like, hey, you can get in a mug. You can get in a black mug. I might get myself a black mug. So if you want to, don't feel like you need to, but if you like the new merch of Don't Be This Guy, Enjoy Football, that is at the shop. It's linked in the description below. And again, if you want to grab a DouglieDoWrong sticker, if you want to grab any other crap on there, I'm going to start pumping out merch for you guys. If I come up with something, or if while we're live something funny happens, I might just put on some merch. So if you want to, go grab yourself some. Like I've told you guys, I'll have promo codes and stuff to, you know, bring down the price, because I don't like, it's more about you guys just getting the shirts than anything else. That's the announcement. So let's jump into this. Cuts have to be done by tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, all teams have to be down to 53. So if we look here, you can see essentially what is going on with who has already made cuts. Now, you see the Atlanta Falcons made a bunch of cuts. Cardinals, not so much. Ravens only cut one guy. Buffalo, they cut Deion Jones, who used to be a good linebacker for the Falcons. You know, if they're cutting him, there's nothing much to see there. Panthers got rid of a bunch of guys. I'm trying to see. I know the Bengals, I think Jackson Carman was the guy that a lot of people were like, that's an interesting move, because he used to be a second-round pick. If it was cut by the Bengals, who consistently need help on offensive line, I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Lions cut 3, nothing really standing out to me. Colts made a lot of cuts so far. Rodney Harrison. Again, not seeing anything that piques my interest. Denzel Mims was cut from the Jaguars. Feel bad for that guy. Keaton Sutherland. I know some people were interested by that one. I'm not really. Raiders only cut one guy so far. Max Duggan's gone from the Chargers. Rams got rid of a lot. trying to see if there's Alec Lindstrom. Not really. Dolphins. The Savon Ahmed and Zeke Vanderberg are not new, but the nude ones. The new ones are Jody Fortson and Mike White. I'll talk about that in a second. Minnesota Vikings, no one crazy. Actually, side note, go back to the Baltimore Ravens. They cut. No, there was one of the tight ends was cut that I thought was interesting. Played for the. It's gone. I'm not gonna be able to find it because I was skimming through this before I started recording, and he played for the Jets, and he was cut by what team? I don't know. Tyree Jackson cut. Giants made a lot of moves here. Again, oh, here we go. Philadelphia Eagles, CJ Uzma, whatever. If you got cut by the Giants, you're not going on another team unless you're on a practice squad. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Washington. See, nothing really. Tennessee hasn't cut anyone. So I feel like today and tomorrow you're going to see a lot of moves of a lot of players being cut and all that stuff. Little around the NFL stuff real quick. Jacoby Brissett got hurt. So maybe it might be a thing where Drake May starts for the Patriots. I don't know. That's an interesting thing that popped up in their preseason game. But yeah, the Dolphins cut Mike White. I saw that coming. I was talking about it. If you guys went back and watched my projection for the 53-man roster, aka the depth chart, go back and watch that before more cuts happen. If you want to see like, hey, how close was he? So far I'm 2-0. I predicted Mike White would be cut. He just was not performing well in preseason or training camp. Not saying Skyler is the world beater, but he did perform better. So obviously he gets the nod. And then Jody Fortson, I wanted him to make it because he's dynamic, but when it came to the physicality we need him to be at tight end, especially when it comes to blocking, he just wasn't able to produce. So that's why he was moved on. But looking at the team cutting down to the 53-man roster, there is still some areas that the Dolphins, in my opinion, need to kind of focus on. Obviously, are we sticking with just 2 quarterbacks going into the season? There is a new rule where that third emergency quarterback doesn't have to be on the roster. Even for game day, they could still be on the practice squad. So will the Dolphins add that third guy? Will it be someone? Again, I talked to you guys yesterday in the video about practice squad, how it could be a vet, it could be anybody. But that's still something like I would still add another quarterback. Wide receiver depth. Craycraft is hurt. Odell is still on the pup. Hunter Renfrow is still out there. There's a possibility of other receivers getting cut. Obviously, going into the season, if we had Barrios, Malik Washington, I know Eric Izukama is dealing with some nagging injury. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. I just want one physically tall wide receiver. I know Hunter Renfrow is not that. Maybe Eric Izukama can stay healthy and perform there. And then also you got the interior offensive line with Wynn still on the pup and Aaron Brewer still kind of having a cast on his hand. I haven't heard any news about his hand or him practicing. Those are kind of the areas of need that the Dolphins may try to poach from some of the cuts. Again, there's cuts and then there's waived. There's 2 different things. If a player's cut, he doesn't go into the waiver pool and the Dolphins can just snatch him if they want to. If a player is waived, there's that whole, and I think it still goes off to the 2023 or this past 2024 draft of being brought in. So there's still, to me, some areas of needs that the Dolphins can address. Outside of that, I'm pretty good with everything else. Like, if you went and watched yesterday's video, I'm going to keep saying it until you go and watch it if you didn't watch it yet. I had a hard time getting it down to 53. I technically was at 54 because I had a hard time between Duke Riley and Channing Tindall because I really liked the way Channing Tindall performed. But like the safeties are really good. I think there's depth there. Corners, a lot of you guys were like, how are you going to get rid of Storm Duck? I did put him on the practice squad, but I couldn't see him replacing others. Some people were like, I would have got rid of Ethan Bonner. I think Ethan played better than Storm Duck. So there's that. There's nothing really that I would do anything differently. That being said, You're going to see, a lot of claims, a lot of, snatching up, moving to practice squad and stuff in the next couple of days, especially after Tuesday. So Tuesday, the 4th, these players will be cut or waived. So a lot of the guys that have been cut or waived, you got to wait until noon the next day to add them to the practice squad. They got to clear waivers. So, teams already going out there and cutting players. So there's that. But you'll see a lot of players getting signed after week 1. Like, again, Ryan Tannehill's out there, Hunter Renfrow, Yannick Ngakoue still out there. There's still a good amount of talented players out there. You'll probably see them get signed after week 1. Why is that, Doug? You kind of hinted at it in yesterday's video. That is because their contract is not guaranteed. Essentially, it's a week basis where they get paid per week. So, you can bring in Ryan Tannehill and then, or you could bring in Hunter Renfrow and then all of a sudden Craycraft is better 2 weeks later and then you move on for Hunter Renfrow. You only pay him for the 2 games that he plays if he does play a game. That's why a lot of teams wait till after week 1 to go out and sign the vets. But the next couple of days is going to be, a lot of cuts, a lot of moves, a lot of surprising moves. Some people were surprised by Mike White. I was not, obviously, but there still could be some moves that will surprise people with the Miami Dolphins, especially, say they move on from Braxton Berrios because they think they have a faster, younger, better wide receiver in Malik Washington who really performs, or, the receiver, I'm going to make sure I get his name right. Anthony Schwartz, I think, was put on IR, so he's done for the year. So there's a lot of moves that still need to be made by the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, Anthony Schwartz put on IR, and obviously we already talked about Fortson and Mike White. There could be surprising. They could, I think Jeff Wilson might be a trade bait. I don't see him making the roster over Chris Brooks, who did have a very good training camp and a good preseason. So there is that. I feel like the defensive tackles, there's going to be some interesting moves there. Corner, again, a lot of people are going to be watching. Storm Duck, Isaiah Johnson, those 2 guys did perform, but they're at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to the corners because there's guys ahead of them like Jalen Ramsey, like Nick Needham, like Fuller, like Kader Kohu, all of these guys that are Ethan and Neil, who's going to make the team, if not to be a corner, but definitely a special team ace. They have the upper hand. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow and even today because cuts are already starting to happen. So I will say this, I'm not going to, unless it's a surprising cut, like the Dolphins move on from Emmanuel Ogbah. That would shock me if they cut him. Then I'll make a short, if anything. If you don't know what the shorts are, you can find them on your mobile app or you can find them on the computer as well. I'll make a short about it. I'm not going to make a full video. And then after all the cuts are done on tomorrow, by 4:00, I'll make a full video talking about all the players that are cut, my thoughts on it. And then we kick off, the claiming process. And then we kick off my whole expectation videos, getting ready for the season. And then next week is kind of the start of my season videos, minus the deeper dive video that comes out Mondays and my film breakdowns that come out Tuesday. So, a lot. This is kicking off. So, you better hop on that train, hit that subscribe button. Well, other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. FN's up.